Step number 1, research the organization. Possessing relevant information on the history of the organization, along with the knowledge of any awards, certified acknowledgments, or positive news articles or grant endeavors associated with the group can pay dividends. This makes you stand out from other candidates. Having prior knowledge of any upcoming endeavors makes you stand out from any other candidate. Having this done in advance will make you seem organized and attention to detail. It's also a good thing to take a look at the About page of the organization and check their mission statement. You should have some knowledge of the mission statement and incorporate that into some of your questions at the end of the interview. Step number 2, compare and contrast. It's always a good thing to do a comparison and contrast of the skills you currently possess and the job requirements to see if there's a direct match or if you're considered as an ideal candidate. Step number 3, prepare your response questions. With the information you acquire from number 1 about the company or department, use this data to get a good start on drafting questions to ask during the end part of the interview. Step number 4, plan what to wear. The interview process isn't a long, drawn-out day event. Typically, the average job interview lasts between 25 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on the position you're applying for. So, preparing your attire in advance, at least 48 hours prior to your interview, to avoid running late, can pay dividends. Needing to iron your clothes during the time allotted during the day of your interview can seem unorganized and very risky. Power colors are something to always consider when you are during the interview process. Stay away from power colors such as red or yellow that can give off a bad vibe at the interview. Stay away from those colors and think about pastel colors or other formal colors that do not bring attention to what you have on, but more or less your skill set. These things are always good to consider during the job interview process. Your first impression is everything. So you don't want the impression to be about the colors you have on. It's more about the skill set you can bring to the table and benefit the department or the company. A tie isn't always needed either, depending on the season or depending on the job field. Step number 5, what to bring. During the interview, all eyes will be on you from top to bottom. So remember to bring multiple copies of your resume and cover letter. It is not good to need to have a staff member make copies when you get there. It's always good to be prepared in advance to make sure that you seem well put together and organized. Step number 6, prepare for the interview. There's an old saying that early is on time. That basically means that you should be at least 30 to 20 minutes early for your interview. You never know what could happen the day of your interview. Remember, interviews are typically in the morning, meaning that you should be considerate of rush hour traffic, school buses making various stops, and more. Being early will allow you to gather your thoughts and process better without being nervous. During the interview, be aware of nonverbal communication from the hiring manager or the individuals there at the interview. While you're speaking about yourself, look around to see if there's heads nodding in agreement to what you're saying, if there are individuals smiling, or individuals who are writing down aloud while you are speaking. Prepare your attire in advance. Make sure that your attire is clean, and make sure that you are matching, and make sure that you are ready for the interview. This is the only shot you have at this position, and your first impression is your last impression. Do not forget the morning routine you typically have. Extend that up by another 30 or 20 minutes to ensure that you reach your destination with time to breathe and compose your thoughts. You do not want to be nervous during this time. So it is also a good thing to be early. You can sit down, gather your notes, write out some questions you may have, grab a cup of coffee, or even think about some other questions you may have towards the end of the job interview. These things are always good to consider when you're preparing for the interview. Make sure that your tie is set and your tire is good to go. Step 7, follow-up. After your interview is over, depending on the setting, you can either thank everyone by shaking their hand on the way out or just simply saying thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Following the interview, make sure that you send everyone that was a part of the job search committee or the hiring manager a thank you email. A thank you email can go a long way and make you stand out from other candidates. Remember, this is an ideal time to be candid and make the individuals aware that interviewed you that you are the person they are looking for. You are an ideal fit for the job and what you can bring to the table.